Alright lads, so today over on Bleach, so Resident, we did get some news regarding the upcoming Ssr character Toshiro release. Reminder, the character itself is releasing on the 5th of December, and today we do have some confirmed events coming our way. There's still more to be seen, but it does give us an insight on how new characters are going to be treated when they are released, and what to expect when those characters do release. Of course though, just a reminder, some of the events are about to end when Toshiro does start on the 5th of December. The character trail, combat training, and trace of anomalies will then leave, so if you haven't already done those, make sure you do them when you can. Alright then, so let's have a look at what we are going to be getting in a few days' time when Toshiro does release. So first up, if you aren't already aware, there is currently a code that only works right now on the Chinese and C versions of the game. So for those of us that are on global, under Crunchyroll or A+ Japan, you might have tried to input this code yesterday and it didn't work. Don't worry though, we will be getting our own code, or the code will start working sooner or later. Ultimately, it's down to Crunchyroll, who is managing the global version, to get those codes out, and I believe they are going to. They've been pretty good thus far, pretty much being one-to-one with the C version of the game. The only difference is that we are a few hours later. So for those that are worrying that we might potentially be missing out on 300 Spirit Jades, we will be getting it. It will either be its own code or we'll just get it at a later date, but we will be getting it before Toshiro does release, so don't stress too much. So after that, we have the new event. So this is going to be really cool. So what you're going to see here is that the main reward at the bottom, because currently it is in Chinese, does consist of Spirit Jades and Ssr Momo. So we do get her for free. And then we're also going to get her core stamp and also weapon stamp also completely for free, which I think is actually really cool. And this is something that I'm loving right now. And hopefully they do keep up with new character releases, because whenever a new character does come out, you know, especially with characters releasing at this point, what seems to be every 2 weeks, as a free-to-play, you're not going to be able to keep up. You're not going to get every character in the game. You're going to have to skip some characters. You're going to have to skip some banners. So if Ssr character releases can be somewhat consistent, that will also be really cool to, one, to potentially get your favorite character. Momo is a popular character, and we can potentially use this as an example when Gin does release, because he will be releasing with Rangiku. If they do the same thing for him, that potentially also does mean a free Ssr Rangiku. That way, if you aren't summoning on that new Ssr character, you can still get something to play with, still something to use, and just playing through an event in general for a new character is always more fun than going through an event for no new character. What I'm also liking a lot more too is that you can just get the character for free, and also in a way completely maxed out, in the sense that you have their weapon stamp and also core stamp. Again, once more, 7 you need to summon for that character. And you know what, even for those that are summoning on Toshiro, I do like the idea of getting the whole complete character, because, you know, I don't want to be in a situation, even if that chance is low, where I summon for Toshiro, I maybe get the character, maybe I get Ssr Momo too, but then I go for his weapon, I get Toshiro's weapon, but I don't get Momo's weapon. I mean, even though the chance of getting Momo's weapon is going to be higher, because of course it's an Ssr, there are some times where that might happen if you get super lucky and get Toshiro's item super early. I wouldn't want to be in a situation where I have to keep summoning just to max out the Ssr when I've already maxed out or gotten everything I wanted in terms of the SSR rarity. That is a super specific situation, but I feel like that could have happened if they didn't go down this route of just giving the character completely free. But also, most importantly, we are going to be getting Spirit Jades. Of course, that's important, right? When it comes to summoning for these limited time characters, the only way to get those summon tickets is more so through Spirit Jades. You will see later in this video, we are of course going to get some summon tickets, the golden ones, but like other games that this is inspired by, Hoyoverse games for example, you're not going to get a lot of golden tickets given to you for free. What you are going to get though is potentially a lot of Spirit Jades, and then you're going to use those Spirit Jades of course to convert into golden tickets. And this event in particular, we'll have to wait and see the exact number, but in Chinese here it does say earn a large amount of Spirit Jades. So what is a large amount? I would assume maybe 1 multi-worth just from this event alone, who knows? But this is something that you are going to be able to do when Toshiro does release. Even if you aren't summoning for him, there's still something for you to do. Get a new Ssr character, complete set with the weapon stamp and core stamp, and also get, potentially, as they stay here, a large amount of Spirit Jades. Following that, we are also going to have a daily login bonus where you can get upwards to, at least for what we are seeing here, 5 character summon tickets and also 5 weapon summon tickets. These are, of course, for the limited time banners, the golden tickets, so it's actually pretty good value. Personally, I would have maybe preferred 10 golden character tickets. But I mean, regardless, it is still free summon tickets for just logging in every single day. And if you aren't using them, that is still building up something for both characters and also weapons. Now, that login bonus was available in the beta, so that doesn't come as a big surprise, especially with the fact that we've kind of known about it already, since it's already stated here. This will be what they are saying is the Frost Spirit gift event. So we'll be getting that the second Toshiro does release. And then, of course, below that, we are going to get Toshiro's summon banner. Remember, if you aren't already aware, because I know a lot of people haven't played a lot of these type of games, especially Hoyoverse games. I keep bringing up Hoyoverse because they are very similar in nature in terms of the systems that this game does use. Until confirmed otherwise, every new character is going to be a limited character. They're going to be available for 2 weeks, and once they're going to be gone until they return, maybe a few months later. But every character is going to be using those golden summon tickets, the limited tickets. So if you are wondering whether you should save your silver tickets for new characters, at least for the time being, who knows when the default banner is ever going to get updated, if ever. So Toshiro, of course, will be available on the 5th. And we can see also right here too, in his banner, the 2 rated up SR characters are actually pretty solid ones, that of course being Momo and also Rukia. I like the idea of it because it pretty much gives you his desired team, at least as far as SR characters are concerned. Like already mentioned, Momo is going to be a free character, but if you do maybe want to summon for Momo and get her duplicates, that is going to be the way you can do that. And if you are someone that has yet to pull Rukia, because maybe that is something that you haven't done just yet, chances are you have summoned her. But I know me, for example, it did take me quite a while to get Nemu in particular, so maybe you're having the same luck with Rukia, you haven't got it just yet. When you are summoned for Toshiro, assuming you have to go all the way to Pity, which of course is 80 summons, good chance you are going to get a bunch of Momos and also Rukias. Dupe them out. Their dupes are pretty good. And this right here is going to be your go-to team if you do not own Kisuke. Otherwise, it'll be Rukia, Kisuke, and also, of course, Toshiro. And in the future, it'll be Toshiro, Kisuke, and also Aizen. But I guess if you are someone that is wondering whether you are going to be able to get Momo or not in the future, she should be added to the standard banner and should be available in every future upcoming limited banners, just not rated up unless stated otherwise. After that, we are going to get his weapon banner at the same time, of course. You're guaranteed the weapon stamp in 40 summons, and just like the Ichigo banner, the rated up SR characters also have their weapon stamps rated up. So once more, if you are someone that is working on Momo or potentially Rukia in particular, and you've yet to get her weapon stamp, you can potentially get that through this particular banner. Even if you have them, weapon stamps do get better with duplicates, so that's a good reason to maybe summon on this, even if, again, you already have the weapon stamps, with the idea of trying to make your Rukia and Momo the best they potentially can be. And then for part 5, this is going to be a daily event. I believe something that you do daily. I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be available on day 1 or not. It could be, but we do know something called Twisted Fate is going to be starting the following week, so it could be something else. Maybe this is unrelated, but the idea for this event is that you do want to do it every single day, and then for clearing these stages, defeating enemies, you are going to get a certain amount of points, and then with that, you can get some stamina, which is actually pretty cool, and also Spirit Jades. This is going to be like a side event, since it is going to be something you want to come back to daily, so the rewards aren't going to be as crazy, but again, these rewards do add up over time. And right now, the way I'm seeing it is that it's going to be similar to this particular event that started a week later. And then the idea is that you do get Spirit Jades, upwards to 600 in this case. And then also around 7 of the Spiritual Power Nourishers, which of course is the stamina recovery system. I will never say no to stamina. And even getting 60 a day is still pretty good. And then for part number 6, we are going to get a limited time challenge event. I believe we did briefly see this in the live stream that we did get yesterday, where you actually go against Gin himself. You get to fight him as a boss, which could potentially tie into the next character release. Of course, Gin right now is expected to release after Toshiro. But in general, this looks to be another big event, probably a more difficult event, something that you are going to have to use a worked on team, for example, to clear, at least maybe clear as fast as possible. I think the idea here once more is to clear, get points based on your maybe clear score. I can see in the bottom left here with Gin there is a ranking event, so there's extra rewards to get if you can clear fast. And the rewards that we are seeing here again is going to be Spirit Jade, so we'll love to see more of those. We're then also going to get power-up items for weapons, and also of course ectoplasm to evolve your stamps or ascend them more so, and then also get the stamp nexus item. Right now, these items are relatively rare. Currently, I only have access to 23 of those, and it's ones I bought from this specific shop, which you are only limited to 30 a month. Chances are you maybe only just unlock them, maybe don't have really access to most of them, and you might be wondering what this item is going to be used for. Well, when you do get a stamp to level 25, which right now is the max level, You can take it to level 30 to get the final 5 levels, but to do that, you need to evolve it. You need to level it up to 6-star. But to do that, you are going to need to have 10 of these. So this is something that you only do when you have a really good piece that you want to evolve and you're comfortable with keeping that on the character. Because this item itself is going to be rare, so being able to get it through the event sounds like a good idea. Because right now, this item is relatively rare, and probably the way we are going to get this item in the future is through events like that. So that sounds like a lot of fun. And then the last part number 7, is of course teasing Gin and also Aizen. I am very curious to see what the release schedule is going to be for these two characters, because right now the assumption, right, is one new character every 2 weeks. So Gin is most likely next after Toshiro, and then after that we get Aizen. It makes sense. But they have been showing these two characters, Aizen and Gin, together at the exact same time. There is no way, right, we are going to get 2 SSR characters released on the same day. Surely not. I think it's a bit too early for that. I can see them doing that for Anniversary. I could also see them never do that, because that's kind of unheard of for games like this. But I think in general, this is mostly just promoting the two characters. They don't necessarily have to drop at the exact same time, but again, right now I'm expecting Gin to drop next. But that's pretty much the early breakdown in some of the... But that's pretty much the early breakdown of what we have gotten thus far in terms of news that is coming our way in just under 4 days' time. There's still more to find out regarding the event rewards themselves, what the exact numbers are going to be, but right now it's looking pretty good for our first new character release. If this is something that we are going to get every time new characters release, I think it's overall going to be pretty exciting. Even if you do decide not to summon for that potential new character, there's still going to be a lot to do and a lot to have fun with. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.